Two hitmen, a hooker, and two transvestites come together in a bizarre night of murder and mayhem. Starring Burt Reynolds, William Forsythe, Georgina Cates, Baltazar Getty, Giancarlo Esposito, and Ari Gross.
Garçon.
Hey!
It's Friday night in Miami.
Let's see what you got under all this shit.
Things are not going well.
Oh, you...
And they will get worse. If they had made one decision different, just one, they never would have met.
Count your lucky stars.
Big City Blues.
You know my friend here, Mr. Crazy Six?
Crazy Six?
6'1", born in my family.
And you're crazy?
A little bit.
Eastern Europe. Communism is dead. In its place, opportunity.
I tell you what, little junkie boy, you clean yourself up, maybe I give you some gainful employment.
But with every opportunity,
A big score. Real big.
there's risk.
It's going to be a war?
A little bit.
Plutonium.
You got 48 hours. I think maybe some people come look for you, huh?
You have something that belongs to me.
Rose got my girl.
I want you to tell me where Six is. You will tell me.
We all got a death wish.
Anything comes back to me, I come back to you.
Everything will come back.
Things are getting out of hand, even for this place.
Apologize.
I'm sorry.
Not to me, you imbecile. To her.
I got a plan. You want my help?
Rob Lowe, Ice-T, Burt Reynolds.
Let's cut the bullshit. Oh my God, it's the cops. We're bust.
Crazy Six.
Let's do it. Let's get down.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to the 21st episode of Voyage to the Bottom of the Barrel, where we dive into some 1997 movies starring the one and only Burt Reynolds. Yikes. I'm just going to introduce the crew right now so we can get to these gems of the 90s. First up, we're going to bring in Professor Cinema.
What's going on, everybody? We got some real stinkers to talk about today.
Next, we got the one, the only OGP.
What up? What up? What up? What up? How you doing, man? Thank you for torturing us. I can't even speak. My mind is so blown after these two movies.
I mean, they were filmed and they were released and people watched them, so they
This
count.
is correct. I mean, and you knew the assignment for the Voyage to the Bottom of the Barrel. You nailed it.
Next, let's introduce the lovely Mel from My Killer Podcast.
Hello,
I'm so not happy to be here.
And of course, Master Chaos.
Greetings, everybody. I am a little under the weather. I'm sort of fighting back some laryngitis, so I apologize if my voice sounds a little hoarse. I'll do my best to not drag down the proceedings, so I won't be talking as much, but I will be adding my thoughts on these pieces of shit movies.
I knew you couldn't help it.
I can't help it. I'm gonna fuck my voice up. Anyway, happy to be here. 21st episode, man. With legal drinking age. That's exciting. I
totally forgot to bring a drink, and I was gonna totally drink, but neither here nor there. Now, as some of you may know, we did lose Mr. Tony of the Dead. He has officially left the crew, but we have someone who is going to fill in as a permanent panel member. So everybody welcome Lady Shasha.
Welcome. Happy to be here. Thank you. And on this momentous night in which you have chosen to see, my mind is going pleasure, torture, one of the two. And let me tell you, my memory of Burt Reynolds is two things. Is it the Smokey movies? I think it was Smokey and the Bandit, and there was another one I forgot. And my aunt's poster that she had in her bedroom.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Of Burt Reynolds.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
now, Lady Shasha was chosen because she has been on an episode before. She was on episode 12, and she was a great guest. We had a panel show for a while together, separately from this, and I knew that she could keep up with us, and she was certainly not afraid of the kind of cinema that we would be throwing her way. And also, it gives Mel a little ammo, so it's not such a sausage party on the voyage.
So many sausages.
Did you refer to these movies as cinema?
Yes, I did.
As you know, it's Celebrity Voyage to the Bottom of the Barrel. So we have a special guest, a really, really special guest. He is the director of what is commonly known as the Citizen Kane of Voyage to the Bottom of the Barrel, Mr. Mike Mendez.
Hello. I am just learning. I've been featured on this show. I feel so honored. Because I have to admit, and this is my own fault. I didn't do enough research going in. I was told like we're going to watch some Burt Reynolds movies. I thought, hey, maybe The Longest Yard, maybe Hooper, maybe Smokey and the Bandit, maybe Deliverance, maybe fuck The Man Who Loves Cat Dancing. Who knows? Any paternity. Fuck. But no. We had to delve to the bottom of the pile.
Very, very bottom.
These gems. Yes. I was hoping Boogie Nights maybe, but no. So I did not know what I was voyaging into. That's my own fault. I take that on me, and let alone. And I was wondering, I'm like, God, I hope they didn't do one of my movies. And then apparently I did the Citizen Kane, which I don't even fucking know which one it is. So it's all a mystery to me. So
but your movie was our favorite movie, though.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
I got scolded for that one because everyone loved that movie. So.
I'm not sure which one it is, so they could all be featured. It would fit.
It was the Convent.
Yep. Okay, all right, sure. And we're talking guilty pleasures it goes. If we're talking, the worst that you can find, hopefully not.
No, yeah.
We all love the Convent.
Yeah, everybody loved it. Blake, the guy in the beard up there, he picked it. And as soon as he mentioned it, I'm like, whoa, the Convent's like a legit good movie though. And he goes, I've seen it a while ago, but I don't remember if it was any good. I'm like, I don't know, guys. I think this is like way too good. Everybody ended up loving it. So like, it hit our top in the voyage.
I'm happy to be the top of the bottom of the barrel. So thank you.
Yeah.
I am the top heap in the Walmart discount bin. Thank you. All right.
I actually tried to make a montage of all of us giving our ratings because everyone was like 4, 4.5, 5, 4.5, and I couldn't get it to work because it kept saying error out, and the only thing I could pick up from it was the Citizen Kane of Voyage, and I mean it kind of is. It's still like the highest rated movie we've done on here, so
Hey, I appreciate it, and yes, I wasn't prepared for well, especially Crazy Six, but we'll get into it. So
They're both rough. Like I haven't seen either of these movies before I picked them, so I usually try to pick.
I like one more than the other, but I've heard you guys talk about it, so we'll get into it. I will actually defend a little bit, shockingly.
Okay.
The bar isn't high here. Okay, I'm gonna just defend. It's not like no, it's fucking great. Yeah, anyway. We'll
right.
Oh, yeah, Don't Kill It's another good one too.
Thank you. That's on next week's show, the Dolph episode.
Yes.
Well, I don't. There's definitely one movie, Mike, that will never make the voyage to the bottom of the barrel, and that's one where I got to meet you in person not too long ago at the signing for Satanic Hispanics right here.
Excellent.
And
all right, cool.
I got two of them for you. I gave one away on the channels. So there's a lucky viewer, I forget who, somewhere out in the country who got one of these, who didn't get to go to Dark Delicacies. Wow, Dark Delicacies that day. So, but man, fun movie. If anybody hasn't seen this, I'll shamelessly plug this for Mike down here.
Much
fun anthology with, if you're a big fan, if you don't know anything else about the movie, vote for Pedro, everybody. And there's another good reason. If you know nothing else about this, Efren was, so cool. What a great panel that day. A lot of fun getting to meet you in person and awesome. Everybody else there. Dark Delicacies is the best, but it was a lot of fun.
We're sad to lose it. This is the last year, so that's a bummer. So.
Oh wait, I hadn't heard that. Are they gone?
Yeah. No, this is the final.
Isn't Del?
I hope that wasn't like an official announcement. I hope that.
No, I'd heard that, but I think isn't Del trying to maybe find a buyer or somebody to take it off his hands? Maybe.
I know they're retiring at the end of the year, so this is our final years of Dark Delicacies. I've been going there for over 20 years. It is a gift to Los Angeles. So yeah, it's going to be very sad to lose it. So.
Yep.
Damn.
But enough about that. Let's talk about Burt's. Let's talk about kind of a low point in Burt's career. Funny enough, Big City Blues was the first movie he made after Boogie Nights, and this is another fun fact that Burt, again, not always making the best choices. Burt saw Boogie Nights at an early screening and fired his whole team, his agents, his management. It's like, why did you put me in this shit? I could be in Big City Blues. So then he went off to do his calling.
Makes sense.
Fun fact there. Yeah. So yeah.
Wow.
Well,
I probably would have fired him too.
Sure.
I mean, I played the trailers at the beginning so we could kind of streamline it a little bit more. But so if you like the trailers and you want to watch the movies, we're going to be talking spoilers. So if you don't want spoilers and you saw those trailers and you thought, wow, these are going to be the greatest fucking things I've ever seen, then get out of here and you can regret your choices later. And yeah, we'll start with Big City Blues. So I will let Professor go first.
Okay, so this whole movie, I was a trifle confused because it had the vibe of it's like the guy decided he woke up one morning, who made this film, who wrote this film, who directed this film, all of it. It's like, I saw that Tarantino film and I think I can do that, and I think I can do it better, and then failed miserably. And it is so random. It is so disjointed. It's like 4 different movies. There's so much going on in this movie that it's really hard to single one thing out and just say this is the reason why this movie is bad. There's just this hodgepodge of poor decisions that everybody made in this film, and I'm just it was rough watching it. And Bullet, I hate you for making me watch this one.
Yeah,
but that's the point.
Yeah, I know it's the point, but I when I woke up this morning and I decided, okay, I have to watch both of these movies now. I watched this one and then I started watching the second one right after it. I had to stop the second one halfway through because I just could not handle it anymore. I should have broken this up like hours, like a day between the two movies.
Mhm.
Instead, I made poor life decisions just like the people who were in this movie.
Well, you figured Burt Reynolds was in it, so you could probably just blitz right through them.
Hey, Burt was fine in this movie. I loved Burt.
Ooh, yeah, different take over here. Different take.
Oh,
go ahead.
Is that my fault? Is that
go
my
ahead?
Okay. So no, when this movie started, and we get a couple minutes or a few minutes, what seemed like an eternity, of some fake European, like French film, and I was like, did I click on the right thing? Because it just jumped right into it. What the hell am I watching? And then we get Burt Reynolds coming out of the theater, and then it's like, is William Forsythe his driver? Is he his, at that point I'm thinking, okay, he's his driver. Burt Reynolds is like the mob boss or whatever. And then it's almost like, no, they're partners or they're buddies or whatever. And then later on, they're back to William Forsythe is the one having to carry the body. And all Burt Reynolds had to do was have a bad fake accent and a little crooked wig at times. And it was just, I didn't know where they were going. You had like 3 different storylines. And was that when they said in the trailer, I did not know, I did not recognize, was that Giancarlo Esposito?
Straight. Yeah.
Yep.
My God.
Gus
Wow.
Fring.
It's amazing that early in his career that he was able to recover from this. But it was just
Nobody saw
First
it.
thing on his resume, damn it.
Well, that's probably it. It's just, 3 different storylines that we're waiting and waiting and waiting for them to intersect. And they finally do with like 10 minutes left in the movie. And it's like, oh, all that for this, and just the payoff wasn't there for what we had to endure for what seemed like an eternity. The payoff wasn't there. I just, Burt Reynolds with that, I don't know what he was going for. If it was like, Burt Reynolds just sitting there thinking every mob movie I've ever seen, I got to try and, at one point, am I trying to talk like Sonny Corleone, or am I trying to talk like Tony Soprano, which Tony wasn't around at that point, I guess. But anyways, where was he going with that accent? And it was tough. It was very tough to get through. I'm shocked because among the movies that Mike listed earlier, the good stuff that we've all seen Burt Reynolds in, what the hell happened to these two? And it's almost like so many celebrities you see that just, they have these amazing careers and they kind of dive into the abyss of bad movies, like, Nick Cage, and even Bruce Willis has done some weird ones. And I didn't know that Burt Reynolds ever kind of got to this level of bad movie, but it was tough. And I thank God they're over. And man, all I can say is, yeah, Bullet Blake, you knew the assignment and you inflicted some serious pain upon us because these were bad.
You're welcome.
Well, thank you very much. I don't know that they were Korean
From Seoul.
and from Seoul.
Okay,
bad,
no, they weren't that bad.
They were
Masterpiece.
Still the worst movie ever made.
And that's all I've got to say about that.
All right, Mel.
Okay. Hear me out here.
Oh God.
Wow. It's because he did Playgirl, right? Did you have that poster too, Mel?
Maybe. No. Okay, so it's not a great movie. I'll throw it out there. It's not a great movie. But it was kind of quirky and fun. Like, it had some ridiculousness to it that was very entertaining. There were like 4 different stories going on, and throughout the entire movie, I was like, what do these stories have to do with each other? But they did come together and create this weird little storyline at the end. Giancarlo was one of my favorite characters in this movie. Burt kind of took a back seat. I didn't really care about his character.
I agree.
the leading lady, I found her incredibly annoying, but then like by the end of the movie, I was like, I love how annoying she is. So like I thought like her whole doppelganger thing was just like out of left field, but it was also entertaining, you know? It was like weird but entertaining. Like I think this movie definitely knew exactly what it was. It knew it wasn't going to be this like masterpiece of a movie, and there was like comedic dialogue and stuff in it, and like the frog thing was weird, and I just liked all the weird things. Like it Master Chaos, listen. I said it wasn't a good movie, okay, but it was entertaining. It kept me intrigued throughout the whole thing. So I'll leave it there. Here you go.
MC.
Well,
be gentle.
This was quite an outlier for us, because on the surface it's a very professional looking movie. It's got name actors who have done really great work. It's not badly shot. It looks like money was put into it. But what the fuck was this movie, man? Like this, I don't understand how these scripts get made. I'm in this industry, so I'm around all that. But you know, there's checks and balances. If a script comes out and somebody says, this doesn't work, there's so many people that put their hands in it. My guess is this was independent, and maybe the guy put up his own money. I don't know how it happened, but this needed a lot of work, because the biggest problem is the script. The script is very bad, and I think both movies tonight suffer from the same problem: a bad script. The other one has other issues, but I think script is sort of the main overall umbrella issue for both movies. I never, in my wildest dreams, would I have pictured Burt Reynolds in a movie with, I guess, drag queen frogs would be the term. French public toilets, sex change nightmares, a prostitute milking a man. Yeah, it is.
I forgot about that.
On the surface, it could have all worked. It could have actually been a really interesting movie. I love interesting movies. I wanted something to be very unique and something to stand out. I agree with you, Mel, but none of this worked. And it led to cock-a-doo-doo. The ending was stupid. This movie, it's one of those things like, how? The whole time, how does this get made? Why is that the scene? Didn't the actors go, wait, what? Why are we spending time on this? Every scene was superfluous. I mean, I know what you're right, Professor. He was trying to do Pulp Fiction. But what he forgot was dialogue, characters, and an interesting central plot. We didn't know what the fuck was going on half the time. Doppelgangers? What? What are you talking about? And like the drag queen characters, by the way, Ari Gross is awesome, and he's great as a drag queen. Esposito was excellent. Their characters could have been great, but they don't do anything. They just hang out and talk about drag queen stories. Like, what the fuck is that? Give them something to do.
That's part of the movie. That's what that is.
But like, give them something to do. And there's no narrative thrust here. There's no agency. It's a big problem with the other movie. Everyone's just sitting around, shitting out nothingness. Oh, did you know that The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly was dubbed? No, it wasn't. Let's call a radio station. Fuck you. Tell me a story. Don't waste my fucking time. Needless to say, I'm not a fan of any of these movies, but this was the one I disliked the least. I'll leave it there for now. Yes.
Wow.
You like the other one better?
Thanks for being delegate.
No. It's gonna be a fun episode, MC.
I'm out.
All right, we'll go Mike next.
My turn. I feel okay. I feel we're jumping one, but I'm going to agree with Mel. Okay, all right. I'm going to agree with Mel actually, and disagree with is it Dr. Chaos? What do you go by, Jose? What is it?
It's Master. I'm a master on YouTube. I'm going to see Master of Chaos.
Oh, Master of Chaos. I'm sorry. So all right. I'm not saying it's a good movie. I agree with you. It sucks. Yeah. So let's get that out of the way. Yes, it is a shitty movie. But with that being said, so in the 90s, and I can say this strongly because I was there. Old man Mendez is going to tell you a story. In the 90s, when Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction came out in the age of film threat, it was like a law. Every fucking movie had to be a Tarantino ripoff. Okay, it was just what people did, and it's just what people were doing back then. Mr. Clive Fury, director and writer of Big City Blues, said, "Hey, I'm gonna do my shitty Pulp Fiction." And that dude swung for the goddamn fences, man. He got it's clearly an independent film, but he got Burt fucking Reynolds. He got, Flat Top from Dick Tracy. He got Giancarlo Esposito before he was anybody, and he got he got him to Burt Reynolds to be in like a leather Speedo on top of it, which that's impressive to me. And then as much as like, okay, I want to do my Pulp Fiction. And dare I say, I actually kind of like the structure of it. I did kind of like the intersecting stories that, like, you're like, what the fuck does this have to do with anything? And then they all came together at the end. And I was actually, it was like, what? That actually is kind of interesting. And again, does anything happen? Do they just fucking babble about bullshit? Yes, absolutely. They talk about the first scene. And I don't know if this was just the Tubi version, but the first scene, they talk about how shitty it is that the movie you just watched is dubbed. And it looked like that entire scene, if not the entire movie, was ADR'd. So they were out of sync, complaining about a movie that was out of sync, which was really fascinating. Anyway, but then you got dream sequences. They did these kind of like stories a la Stand By Me, that there would be like this frog world and this other fucking shit that would happen. And you don't see that in independent film anymore. Jose, as these days you get 10 to 12 days or something like that if you're lucky, and you get two locations, and so it to me it was actually refreshing to go like, the fucking 90s, this is total fucking bad independent 90s cinema, this is total fucking wannabe Tarantino trash, but I see what he's going for. He was trying something, it didn't work, but I there was enough elements to it that I felt far more entertained than Crazy Six. That one I'll bash to no end. But this one I will defend a little bit, kind of going, hey, this was not the worst thing. I went into it. I was going, what fucking shit did I'm sorry, Master of Chaos?
Master Chaos, yes.
Okay. So what shit did Master Chaos get me into at this time? But by the end, I was kind of going like, Clive Fury, or Fleury, however the fuck you say it. I'm gonna give you a little bit of a pass. You tried, you failed, but you tried. So and that goes for something. So.
Well said.
All right, Lady Shasha.
I feel like I have to defend this movie as well because it was half good. And hear me out.
Yeah.
If you overlook the fact that during the movie they say they're in San Francisco, but you can clearly tell it's Southeast Miami by the fact that there's no hills. And if I'm to believe Full House, I think there's supposed to be hills in San Francisco. But we didn't talk about the other main character in this, which is cocaine. And I think that's funny because it goes a little bit with the other movie. Not only in that the people in the movie are frequently seen doing cocaine. I think the people that wrote the movie may have done a little bit of cocaine. I do want to talk about Giancarlo Esposito and Ari Gross as Georgie and Babs because they're my favorite characters. And their frog story is what sold me initially because I love how they did the whole, they say show, don't tell. They really did both. Like they told you the story and then showed you the frog, which just to be accurate, they are not drag queens. They're trans because that's what told the story of why the frogs changed. And that made me Google whether that's a real thing. And frogs can do that. It usually happens if they go into a pond that has one a population
too high
of one. I'm talking about the frogs changing sex.
This that's educational film.
Real thing.
The Discovery Channel, man.
The beauty in it is that you never have a sausage party at a pond. If there's too many males, some of them will just literally turn into females so that it's always even.
like the Voyage, that's what's happening here. We're turning into females.
Yeah, that's the world writing itself.
Aside from that, someone mentioned how did Giancarlo Esposito survive playing this role, and I thought about it and I said to myself, it's the 90s. everybody did this. Patrick Swayze, Wesley Snipes, John Leguizamo. Like, there's a lot of drag going on in the 90s, and people just kind of got over it.
Yeah, but Tu Wong Fu is actually entertaining.
Yeah.
I meant no disrespect. I meant no disrespect to them being in drag. I meant them being in this movie.
Yeah, you did.
Oh no, I
it was about this movie.
This movie had its boring parts, and that was for me the Burt Reynolds, William Forsythe parts. There was a scene where they were sitting in the car, and he was about to call the radio station to solve something he was trying to prove about Clint Eastwood movies being dubbed or something. And which I actually think they probably were, because a lot of them were spaghetti westerns, and in Italy they usually shot the sound separate from the filming. But aside from that, he started talking about Clint Eastwood. He was sitting in the car with William Forsythe. I went out to the garage, got my laundry, folded it, brought it up to my room, came back down. They're still in the car talking. And I want to piggyback off of the Tarantino vibes, because I took notes on this, because as soon as Burt Reynolds turned on the music and started dancing around, dude, I was like, first of all, they should have not had Burt Reynolds do that. It was very Reservoir Dogs, but they should have had William Forsythe do that instead of Burt Reynolds, because William Forsythe is the Eric Roberts of Michael Madsen's, so it would have worked out better. Second thing I noticed is a doppelganger girl. I don't remember what her character's name was. When she put on the Uma Thurman wig from Pulp Fiction, I was like, okay, that's twice. And then the whole multiple stories. And I will always say, once is happenstance, twice is a coincidence, and 3 times is a pattern. So it was completely giving me Tarantino. But here's where he went wrong. This could have worked. I wrote my notes that Clive Fury wants to be a weirder Tarantino. And then I thought to myself, well, Tarantino's already weird, but Fury wanted to be weirder, but he wasn't quite weird enough to make this work. Because for this to work, you have to do it in a more David Lynch type way. And then the weirdness would have worked. But like I said earlier, my favorite characters were Georgie and Babs, and I'm disappointed that they shoehorned a Reynolds movie in between how I wrote it, interesting, heartwarming, fantastical trans lady buddy comedy. That's what this should have been. And I have to fight the urge to fast forward through the Burt Reynolds scenes just so I could be able to review it, because technically you can't review something if you didn't fully watch it. But it was really hard for me not to fast forward through those. I would love to re-edit this movie and call it George and Babs Coffee Stories, Sisters Stick Together. Kind of like, here's my pitch. It's like an American Priscilla Queen of the Desert. Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar. You see where I'm going with this?
Yep, love it.
And do you guys remember who Julie Newmar is? Or am I? I'm pretty old.
Catwoman.
Yeah, I know Julie Newmar.
Thank you. Because everyone remembers Eartha Kitt and Lee Merriweather, but they forget that Julie Newmar was the first. Although they're all pretty cool.
The one thing you did get with the Burt Reynolds scene, you did get the Satanist that lived in the mom's basement, which again, just for the weirdness of it, I kind of appreciated going like, this is stupid, but I like that he's going there, so.
Yeah, the wrong symbol too. He had an onk on the wall, and I'm like, that has nothing to do with Satanism. Where's the pentagram?
I'm completely with you that if this was filmed in a more David Lynchian style, it would have been fantastic. It'd probably be a cult classic.
Yes.
But I want to go back to
re-edit it. Edit it into the 2 movies that it is. The Burt Reynolds movie and the drag queen movie. Or trans movie, I should say.
Really fast, I want to go back to something Lady Shasha said about if I have this, if you said this quote correctly, it's my favorite quote ever, which I think you said William Forsythe is the Eric Roberts of Michael Madsen's. Was that correct? That's awesome.
Yes. That was good. Yeah, that was good.
All right. I think I know what that means. He's like the Michael Madsen that is more gettable.
They're all 3 that guys, but there's like a hierarchy of that guys. And
okay,
Michael Madsen was at the top, but at one point, Eric Roberts was neck and neck until he started doing Ja Rule videos, and it's like, you'll be in anything.
I love it. That's my favorite quote. That is awesome.
I love Michael Madsen. I mean, everyone's said pretty much what they think of the movie, and that's pretty much what it was. It was a Tarantino ripoff. The big immediately when that Burt Reynolds came on, he turned the radio on, and he's got his like, just going around there. I was like, man, really? Like you're trying too hard. You're trying too hard. The frog thing fucked me up. I almost checked out. I was like, this is fucking just, I don't know what this is. This ain't a movie. I mean, it's fucking weird. And I too also put it on and thought it was the wrong movie at first because it was black and white and some weird thing. And I actually stopped it and like checked the file, and I was like, okay, that's the right movie. It's just weird. But
and you'll be happy to know that Clive Cleary has struck again with Sons of Summer in 2023. He has made another film because I don't think he's really made another feature since Big City Blues. So so it's just an idea for next week.
It's hard to top. Hard to top.
Maybe he's learned some stuff. I don't know. This movie just did not work for me. It didn't work for me at all. Yeah.
If his new movie is as bad as this, kudos to him. He is my hero for having at least a 26-year span of making dog shit and surviving in the industry. So kudos. But hopefully his new one, for his sake, is not as bad. But
6.9 on IMDb, which is actually pretty good. So.
That's really good.
For IMDb, anything above a 6 is great.
Because Big City Blues has a 3.3, so this he's tripled his score, doubled his score. So.
That's how I picked Big City Blues. I looked at the rating, and then I saw that it had a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes for the audience score, and I was like, "That's perfect. That's the movie." So I had to have that one. Let's do final thoughts, Professor.
And ratings.
Yeah.
And ratings, yeah.
So we all ragged on this movie, and although see, Lady Shasha, she's got me thinking about it in a David Lynch style.
Here we go.
And I want to see it that way now. But
no,
that's not.
Remember how much pain you were in watching this.
It's not enough to make me really add to my score, so I'm going to give it a half barrel.
That's a fair barrel.
That is a fair barrel. Yeah, my final thoughts on this are: I would go with blue as the color of shirts that the frogs should wear. If you remember the conversation, they were talking about what color the shirts they should wear. So, but no, this was an abomination. Burt Reynolds was horrible. The script was horrible. I didn't know what was going on till the end. You did kind of get the idea that he was trying to rip off Tarantino. That was evident. It missed in so many ways, and I hated. I mean, I was like, I learned something new. This movie taught me one thing, and so maybe that'll get it a bonus half barrel. I learned that if you watch movies on Tubi on your phone, you can go to 1.5 speed. And so I watched this in 1.5 speed.
How dare you?
Thank you for that. Thank you for that.
Yes, so watch them on your phone next time on Tubi. But no, it was so bad. I mean, there were a couple moments that I was like, okay, that's kind of funny. Okay, that's kind of funny. But for the most part, I hated every second of this. But because of learning about the 1.5, I'll give this a 1 barrel.
Okay. All right. Mel?
All right. So now that we know that this movie is worldly and it's educational and
Keep going. Go ahead.
I might have to change my rating. Yeah, I enjoyed this movie. Burt was the worst part of it. I'm going to give it a 1.5.
1.5. Okay.
Did somebody just say rare?
I think
it's my fucking cat at the door. He just keeps trying to get in here.
He wants to give his thoughts. He saw the movie too. All right. I'm going to look at my notes real briefly because I wrote something I think sums up. Oh, by the way, having just worked with Madsen, I think he totally would have done this movie. Absolutely would have done this movie.
If he was in this movie, it's 5 barrels automatically, okay?
Totally would have done this. All right. Every scene feels inconsequential, and every exchange of dialogue is context-free nonsense that is filled with inane non sequiturs that go nowhere. That's my main issue with it. That I feel like I know what it was trying to do, and it failed at it. The frog thing could have been interesting, but I mean, look, they spent so much money on that goddamn frog thing. That's a lot of money. The costumes, the sets, that isn't something you throw together in your fucking basement. Oh, I got a fucking frog dungeon in my house. Let's film it there. No, you gotta build that out. That takes time. That takes lighting. They spent so much time on that I could just see Clive say, this is so important for my film. We got to make sure we spend so much time on this. And he's on set. He goes, yes, this is my masterpiece. And then the frogs walking around being dumb, whatever. Sorry, I'm going to let the frogs go. They are what they are. I hope they're happy in their transition or whatever's happening with them. But that happened early on. That was like 5 minutes into the movie. 5 minutes into the movie, I'm like, Jesus, what the hell are we in store for? And the film continues to deliver scene after scene of inconsequentialness. That nobody mentioned Raccoon Eyes Balthazar Getty. What the shit was that? What? He shows up, his eyes are blacked out like he was just playing Batman, and then he goes, let me give you a ride. Okay, bye. And then he leaves. Did I miss something? He didn't die or anything, right? He just left. What's happening there? Look, this is a weird movie for us because we tend to do a lot of shot on video, weird backyard things. So this is like a professional looking movie, shot on film. It's got actual A-list actors, but it fails just as hard as Black Devil Doll or or anything like that because it's doesn't satisfy the core core meaning of a movie, entertainment. I was not entertained. I know Mel loved it, and she's the greatest thing ever. She's gonna get a tattoo for it, but I was not. And Mike as well seemed to
on my knee.
matching tattoos.
Yeah. I got William Forsythe on this arm and Burt Reynolds on this arm. It's fucking awesome.
Of course, I knew it. But it's not super garbage either. So I cannot give it. So the other movie, whoa, this one I think it's a little higher quality. So I'm gonna go with One Barrel because I think it's just inches away from being competent, but it's not quite there. So One Barrel for me. Mike, so just so you know the ratings, it's 1 to 5 barrels. Obviously, 1 worst, 5 best. Take it away.
All right. I'm going to, stand up for a little bit saying that I think it was kind of an interesting time capsule of its time. It reminded me very much of what 90s cinema was at that particular time. This is the age of blockbuster video, the age of, DVDs and the age of Miramax and all that. It was just long before streaming or whatever. It was just interesting to see like, God, they don't make independent films like that. Thank God to a certain degree. But it was nice to see like a different time and a different type of independent film that is long gone. It was cool to see, the actors in there. I'm going to defend Burt Reynolds. I know everyone's down on him, but it gets far worse for him in his career. I will, direct you to Uwe Boll's In the Name of the King or a Dungeon Siege Tale, where they literally look like they wheel him in front of camera and then wheel him out of camera. So he's with it. This is Boogie Nights Burt's. He's with it. He's firing it on all cylinders for a shitty film. So I don't know. I'm going to give it, 2 barrels almost seems a little too nice. I'm between 1.5 and 2. I'll give it 2. I'll be charitable. I appreciate the effort and that they tried to do something. So I'll give it 2 barrels.
Very nice.
Yeah.
All right, Lady Shasha.
I'm giving it 2 barrels, 1 for Georgie and one for Matt. I want people to rediscover this movie, and I want it to be a cult classic in the order of like Rocky Horror Picture Show, just because I want a theater full of people dressed like transgender frogs.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
I love that. You can have conventions, and everybody comes as a transgender frog. I just feel like that's something that needs to happen. It's so ridiculous. But I didn't think this movie was all. I mean, it was bad, but it was only half bad. And like I said, if you cut this movie down and just release actually remake this movie and then elaborate more on the Georgie and Babs thing, and just they're at a coffee shop the whole time and they're just telling these stories, and it's an anthology of the stories that they're telling. Do that.
I don't think that's gonna work. Good luck. Good luck trying to make it happen.
I should go on TikTok tomorrow and make a puppet show out of it.
That'd probably be more successful and get more views than this movie. So
yeah, 100%.
All right. I hated this movie quite a bit, but I don't think it's the worst movie we've watched on here. I think there's at least 4 or 5 movies I would put below this movie on here. Man, I love William Forsythe. So I'm gonna give it 1 barrel. 1 barrel for me. It was just meh. Like, and to be fair, I watched this one all in one sitting. The other one I did not watch all in one sitting. It took me several. So that's where I land. I land at 1 barrel for that.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right.
There was definitely no terror at Bloodfart Lake. That's for sure. So
terror. I mean, that's way better. That's a way better movie, man.
I have not seen that.
Man, they gave that shit 5 stars, man. That was a great movie.
That was a good one. I was thinking it sucked, but man, the first one was good.
Was William Forsythe in either of the and Bloodfart Lake or no?
I don't think
no.
And
he probably could have
been. Could have been.
Could have been. Anyway.
Yeah, so that covers Big City Blues. And I finally got to watch this movie. I've actually been wanting to watch it for a while. So, because it's one of the very few Burt Reynolds movies I haven't seen. And I am very disappointed that I have watched it now. So that's okay. But we can move on to the next movie. The always, well, I'm not even going to do any build up for this movie. This movie, but we'll let Lady Shasha take the reins and go ahead.
Oh, okay. You know how I just now said that the other movie was great at show don't tell with the whole illustration of the stories. This was the exact opposite. It started with like a minute of just telling in purple font. And I still don't even remember what it was that they told me. Like it in one ear and out the other. We don't get to see Burt Reynolds until 30 minutes into this movie. And the first time we see Ice-T, he's duct taped to a chair. And they had me there. I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting. And then Mario Van Peebles shows up as a French, I guess, plutonium dealer who has a diabetic chihuahua.
It was diabetic. I missed that part.
Yes. He also, when he ordered the food for the chihuahua, he told the waiter low fat because he doesn't want his dog to have high cholesterol. These are the things I remember more than the opening scroll that told me what the story was supposed to be about. Then he had this weird garbled accent that I didn't know until like a while later that he was actually supposed to be French. Because dude was like, you tried to kill my little friend. And I'm like, that sounds Spanish. And then he goes, to bijou. And I'm like, okay, so you're mixing a Spanish and a French accent. I don't know. 11 minutes in is when I realized that it wasn't Bill Moseley in that role. It was Rob Lowe because he looked like Bill Moseley. I was like, oh my God, that's Rob Lowe. and in the last movie, remember I said cocaine was another character in the movie. The crack pipe in this movie made several appearances, and they shot it like these long, slow shots, like how they used to film cars in the Miami Vice show. That's how they shot this crack pipe. Like, why are you so proud of this? All I got from what the plot was there's some people that were going to steal plutonium so they can, quote, stay high for the rest of our lives. And I was like, I don't understand how that's going to work. Like, what are you going to do with the plutonium to get? I didn't understand any of that. The singing. I almost forgot about the singing because after the third time, I started fast forwarding through the singing. And fun fact, you can watch this movie in 45 minutes if you fast forward through the singing, because there's like 8 different song medleys. And I'm sorry, not different. The same song, 8 different times. I think it sounded like the same song. There was 2 gunfights. One was slow motion, one was quick. Both were boring. And I'm like, I've never been bored by a gunfight before, but this is terrible. There's I've seen people try to torture people before, but in this movie, this person has I'll only half spoil it. A person has a crack pipe duct taped to their face. Stop laughing. That shouldn't be funny.
Yeah, Blake.
And again, just like the last one where I said I would edit into a different movie, I would edit this into a different movie. I would edit out all the musical interludes and just released it that way. I don't know what is wrong with it. Both of these movies have the same problem. It's that they want to make 2 different movies, but they just kind of smash them together. This movie also made me Google something. Burt Reynolds was going on about something, and he said that he had his spleen removed. And I had to Google to see, can you live without your spleen? Apparently you can, but you will have a severely compromised immune system. So two different times I Googled stuff. The last thing, good news, bad news. The little Chihuahua lived to the end of the movie. So if anybody is worried about anything happening to dogs, nothing really happens to, I forgot the Chihuahua's name. But in real life, they did put a Chihuahua down because apparently it bit some film crew, and they were threatening to sue the company. So allegedly, grain of salt, this is IMDb. So, that stuff can be like 60% real, 60% maybe go on Snopes. But yeah, this one, I enjoyed the ridiculousness of Mario Van Peebles' character in this, and the crack stuff was kind of funny. But I'm trying to figure out whether I like this one better than Big City Blues or not. I feel like it was slightly easier to watch than Big City Blues. Like I think I had even though I did fast forward through the singing, or maybe that's why it was more easy to watch, because I didn't fast forward it. I challenged myself to not fast forward anything in Big City Blues. I'll wait till you come back around, because I'm not going to give my rating yet, but they're both kind of equal. Both movies, I feel like they're equal. They're good double feature. They kind of go together.
Equal piles of shit.
Yeah.
All right, Mike.
Wow, what a piece of shit! I fucking hated that thing. That was rough. That was brutal. I didn't know what I'd gotten myself into. So let me start. I'm going to start way back here. So let's talk about the director Albert Pyun, who at one time was a good filmmaker. Like he started off with Promise, The Sword and the Sorcerer, eventually did things like Cyborg and Nemesis. There's some cool shit in those movies. Now he ended up doing something like 53 movies in his career. And at some point it just started to fall off. You'd kind of see the filmmaker that gave a shit, but somehow I don't know what it was. I don't know what he gave into, but just was kind of like, nah, we'll just get it done, whatever. And this one is a total example of like, there was kind of a cool idea there. It started off with the cool hot pink credits of like Eastern Europe, the fall of communism, and now it's the biggest weapons thing. And I'm like, okay, cool, all right, I'm kind of into this. And then that was the last fucking cool thing that happened in the movie. Then the movie started, and we really forgot about all that. It really had nothing to do with anything. And then we get to see some story of Rob Lowe. And as a way, we've never seen Rob Lowe this way. He's kind of doing his best Joe Dirt impression in this one. the mustache and the ducktail, and that was great. And Rob Lowe's drug addicted, and he's partnered with Mario Van Peebles, who's got a Chihuahua, and Ice-T is in it playing the same role he played in Trespass. So cool. But it just kind of gets lost in a whole. It just doesn't go anywhere, and it ends up being largely about Rob Lowe's drug addiction. And I'm like, I heard weapons, and I heard Eastern Europe, and this is the big trading. I kind of want some badass action. It's called Crazy Six. I thought it was going to be about like these 6 crazy assassins, but no, it's Rob Lowe is the 6th in his family, and he's crazy. He's crazy about crack, apparently. So that's how it gets its title. So that was disappointing. And then another fun fact is that Albert Pyun was obsessed with the movie Streets of Fire, and so much so that he actually made a sequel that he didn't have the rights to, called Road to Hell. And it's only like 30 minutes, but he got Michael Pare to reprise his role. He told Michael Pare, because I've talked to him about it, he told him, no, I got the rights. We're totally doing it. It's totally legit. Walter Hill signed off on it and everything. He didn't have anything, and did, this 30-minute dog shit musical, called Road to Hell. You can find it on YouTube. He was clearly still in that phase of wanting to make his own Streets of Fire while making this film, because you have the girl kind of doing a Diane Lane, just singing for no reason, again, for a good runtime of the movie, and it goes nowhere. So, clearly he needed to kind of exercise that out. I fell asleep halfway into it, which I do because I watched the movie old. I did finish it, but when I woke up, it went into the movie Mean Guns. And I thought it was the same film because it just happened.
You're not the first to experience that.
Yeah, I was like, God, when did Christopher Lambert get into this movie? That's crazy. And then I realized my mistake, and went back and finished the dog shit that is Crazy Six. So yeah, that was awful. I hope to never see that again. And thank you for bringing that into my life.
Oh man.
All right, MC.
Me. Worst Pyun ever. Holy God.
Damn.
This was awful. And it's funny because I had just seen another one of his films this past week. I watched Radioactive Dreams, I think it's called. Great movie. Holy crap. Really, really fun movie. Michael Dudikoff is actually a good actor. And I did not know that. But he's really good in that movie. So highly recommend that one. This one, no. It's funny. Lady Shasha says that you can watch this movie in 45 minutes. I feel like I'm still watching it. I feel like it's unending. I feel like it's like took me 7 years to finish this movie. I mean, the ending alone felt like it was Return of the King. Like it just like stop, movie's over. Don't go back to stop singing. Movie, just move faster. Let's go, movie. Oh God. 2 biggest issues for me. Again, the script and the editing. The editor should have been fired immediately. And I'm sure the guy hopefully can feed his family some other way, but editing is not for him because this movie was edited in such a and Mike, you can speak to this as an editor yourself. It was so lazily put together. And I think again, he's not here to speak for himself, but Albert probably shot the movie in that way because the shots are very languid and they move and everything. I mean, it's like, forget Steven Spielberg. There's more people looking at shit in this movie than in any Spielberg movie ever made. Like you're just looking and look at that. Let's look over here. Oh, slow shot. This guy looking over here. Oh, look at that. Stop looking. Tell me a fucking story. What's happening? What are we doing? What is the connective tissue here? I'm big on story. You guys know narrative is very important to me. So if a movie fails to deliver a story or a hook of any kind, then I'm going to start looking at the flaws. And this movie is decided to take its sweet ass time. And I've never seen a movie that's so listless in my life. And that's saying a lot because I've seen a lot of movies that are really, really slow. But this was so slow in the weirdest way. Like it almost felt like, oh, there's the plot. No, wait. Let's cut to her singing some more. How about this? Oh, look at that. Rob Lowe's looking. Let's watch him looking for a minute. Look at that. Hey, that's pretty cool. Hey, look at Mario Van Peebles is also looking at stuff. So I don't understand because Albert is a good filmmaker and he understands pacing. He's made some really badass movies. So what was happening here? What was his decision to make such a bloodless movie? And I think it could have worked again, like the other movie, if its pacing was not as affected by its style. I love stylish movies. I want you to be different. Please be different. But when it affects your pace, then you gotta reel it in, because throw up some gels. It's great. Dutch the camera, fantastic. But don't waste my time. And this movie felt like it was just wasting my time constantly. And I think absolutely this is probably the most. Well, I think I say that every episode, but this is one of the most painful experiences I've had watching. And I had to watch this on Tubi, so I couldn't fast forward. I didn't know that on your app you can you can watch it faster, and I'm going to do that next time.
If you watch it on your laptop, and I don't know whether it was because I have ad blocker or whether it was just the app itself. Yeah, there's no commercials. And you can fast forward.
I still got commercials on my laptop. That's weird.
Oh, maybe it's the ad blocker then, because I have ad blocker on mine. I didn't know that it worked on Tubi.
Yeah, woof, man, this was horrifyingly bad. Rob Lowe, everybody sucked. Everybody sucked. There was no good things about this movie. Zero good things. Those are my opening thoughts.
All right. Mel?
Me?
Why are you surprised? You're next.
Well, now that we know that this is another educational film, hear me out. I'm just kidding. This movie was so boring. It was so boring. I am like a strong believer that if I can find entertainment value in a movie, I'm going to like it. And I was not entertained by this movie at all. I was not entertained by it at all. The beginning took so long. It took so long for this movie to get started. The music montages, or whatever you want to call it, everybody talked about it already, but they took forever. Why was Rob Lowe even in this? What was he even doing? Like, he did nothing.
Correct.
Like it filmed in and zoomed in on his face for like 30 minutes, and then it cut to a scene of him crawling around on the ground, and then it cut back to his face for like another 30 minutes, and the movie was over. I honestly don't even know what happened. Like, what was even happening in this movie? It was terrible. Where was Burt? Burt was in it for like 2 minutes. I don't get it. This was just so boring. It was so boring. I hated this one. And I hate that I have to say that.
Burt was too busy being in bondage gear in the other movie.
I guess. I can usually find like something in a movie that entertains me, but this one was just awful. And like through that whole shootout scene, I got the two chicks confused. I thought the singer chick was the one that died. So then I spent the next 10 minutes trying to figure out how she was alive, or if that was her twin sister, or why this chick looks exactly like the other chick, because we had a movie that we watched previously where that happened. There was like two chicks that looked almost exactly the same, and I just got confused the whole time. So I thought that was like another situation. It wasn't until like 10 or 15 minutes later that I was like, oh, same chick. Those are my thoughts. OGP, take it away.
Yeah, this was bad. And you know, this is tough for me. Just so about 10 years ago, I met Albert and became friends with him, and kept in touch with him quite a bit until his dementia and his illnesses really took hold, and I feel bad because I haven't talked to his wife in a while, but he was a good guy, and I love the fact that his career started off with a bang. He had all these amazing movies, and as his career wound down, and maybe part of it was because he wanted to do certain movies, he wanted to do his movies his way, and he may have been a victim of his own filmmaking, where he started to lose budgets, and is obviously, if you look at IMDb, the last 20 movies he made just were not on par with the first half of his career. But I felt like this was something that Albert was like, I want to make something artistic, and I want it to have a certain style. I feel like there was intent with this, but he did not execute. It was very tough, and it was so long. But I was looking at, you know, his IMDb, and it's like, well, after, boy, I mean, this is very much on par with like, not, I mean, Nemesis was fun, but this is more like a Nemesis 4, where it's like, we shouldn't have probably done this, but it was after like probably Nemesis 2 or 3, the rest of his career you could kind of forget about. But I do want to say The Interrogation of Cheryl Cooper, if nobody's ever seen that, my good friend Tommy Vegas stars in that movie. It's a fun one, and it's definitely Albert trying something unique. So that is worth watching. So I just want to premise what I'm saying, how I'm going to destroy this movie by saying Albert was such a good guy, and Albert, rest in peace. I mean you no harm with this, but Jesus fucking Christ. What did we experience here? It was a movie of extreme close-ups. All we got for like an hour and a half was just tights on people's faces. And this is funny because MC, like some of the, well, I don't, maybe we shouldn't even talk about this, but something that you have experienced where actors couldn't be on set because they were sick and you had to shoot them separately from the rest of the cast. I felt like Ice-T was never on set with Burt Reynolds. And I mean, none of these, because there were no shots with two of them in the same shot. Even when was Ice-T's on the ground and like they're like handing something or taking something out of his hand, you still don't see his face. So it's like, did they just have them all, you know, like, well, I got you for 2 days, or I got you for 2 days, and I got you, so we're going to do all your shots and all your tights. And maybe did that play into this? But the music and the singing just went on and on and on. And yeah, the ending, it's like, okay, we know the story's over. The movie's done, but we got to see this girl singing, and then cut back to shots of nothing, and then back to her singing, and back to nothing, and back to her singing. It was like, just ended already. Put us out of our misery. But I do felt like, there you go. I do feel like this was a bunch of Americans doing a horrible job at trying to be European. It felt like Americans trying, you know, you see, you know, people pull off different accents and everything. And to me, one of the worst fake accents ever was Mel Gibson in Braveheart. I just can't stand it. Can't get through that movie just because of the accent. And so accents drive me nuts when I know what's going on with them. But I kind of also felt like Rob Lowe has stole Joey Pants, however you say his name, Pantoliano's wig from Sopranos. It was like they took Joey Pants' wig from The Sopranos, dragged it through the mud a little bit, and then threw it on Rob Lowe's head. It was bad, but you know, like it was like he was going for an 80s vibe. Like he wanted, like it was definitely a movie that would have, if it was on a panel with the Rad Pack there, the coloring would have fit right in, but definitely not as entertaining as the Rad Pack. But 29 minutes in, and I'm like, is Burt Reynolds actually in this? And then like 29 minutes in, Burt shows up, and it's like, oh, okay, he is really in this movie. And it was tough. I tried to follow along. I was lost, I think, you know, were we trying to go for something where you should have done cocaine to appreciate this movie, or what was the deal? Because it was rough. It was bad. And I wish, you know, Albert was still around to ask him, what the fuck were you doing, Albert? What was this? But it was just bad. It was bad. And I hated every second of it. And I was sitting here because Fluffy Gamer's staying with me for a couple weeks before he actually moves off to Texas. I got to do that every time I mention the Lone Star State. But I was watching it with him, and I was like, I've never wanted to turn off a movie so bad in my life. So this is right up there with the worst of the worst, the bottom of the barrel, just absolutely horrible. And with that, I shall pass it along. Here is my torch, Professor.
Wrong way.
I was surprised I got it right that time. Usually I'm backwards.
So I I watched this movie a long time ago, and I like Pune. Sword and Sorcerer is actually one of my favorite sword and sorcerer movies ever. A friend of mine introduced me to that movie when I was like 11 or 12, and I got excited about it. I had the VHS, I had the DVD. When the 4K came out, I bought it. I've got the poster on my wall in my room. This movie was so disappointing, though. Like, I thought I remembered liking it when I watched it before, and I don't know how I could have liked it. I feel like Rob Lowe was actually doing the drugs that he was doing on screen, because I've never seen him.
No,
I've never seen him act that wooden. Like his entire thing was just completely wooden, and he was stiff and just awkward and I don't know. This movie just was weird, and I really thought I remembered it being better than it actually is, and I'm so unhappy I was so wrong. You can't really call this a Burt Reynolds movie, though, can you? Because he was in it for what, like 30 seconds. He was like more of a cameo. And the final scene where Rob Lowe's character is coming into the bar, he's walking up to the singer. They're looking at each other. She's singing. It goes to his face, to her singing, to his face, to her singing, to his face. And, walking through the bar. And am I the only one that felt that one scene took, like, I don't know, 8 years to watch?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's like Return of the King. It just never ends.
It was weird, and it's so drawn out. And I got lucky because I was sort of doing things while I was watching it, so I had something to keep my attention at certain parts of the film to where it didn't feel like it was dragging down. But at the end, I started paying attention because I you need to see the ending, I guess, or not really, but I don't know. I thought I did, and I am not a fan of this movie. I don't want to watch it again. I would never. This is the kind of movie that you tie somebody down to a chair and torture them with until they give you like state secrets. Like, if you don't tell me where are the plutonium codes? I'll make you watch the movie now. No, please don't. God, please just make it stop. Yeah, I can't handle this movie. I don't want it anymore. Make it go away. Bullet, take over.
Okay, first I wanna defend Road to Hell a little bit because I actually like that movie. But I know you're referencing
it's just like 30 minutes. It's not even a thing.
You're referencing the 30-minute version that was leaked before they actually released the full movie, which is actually 80 some odd minutes. It's like an hour and a half for the actual whole movie, and I enjoy it, even though I was probably under the influence a little bit when I watched it, but it's a trippy fucking movie because it's all on like green screen. The whole fucking movie was basically, and I liked it. They never mentioned his character by name, but it's definitely like a faux sequel. Love that. Love Michael Paré. Anyway, that's my little side note there. And this movie, onto this movie, I was thinking that this was going to be an okay movie when I picked it. I was like, well, I like to pick one that's going to be bad and one that's going to be okay. And I figured this was going to be the okay one. Holy fuck. No, it wasn't. This movie was like the worst fucking. I honestly, this is a contender for the worst movie I've had to watch through Voyage to the Bottom of the Barrel. It was bad. Ass, trash, garbage. This movie, I hated it. And it took me, I started to watch it last week, and it took me until today to finish it because I just had to keep stopping because it was so drawn out. I don't need to see emo Rob Lowe just looking off into the distance in some blue lights. Fuck that shit. Oh my God. And it just kept going. And he wears the same clothes throughout the whole fucking movie. That drove me nuts too. The army jacket, and he goes and gets clean or whatever, and then he comes back. He's wearing the same fucking outfit he got shot in, but there's no blood on it. What the hell was that? Come on, do something with that shit. It drove me nuts. Everything about this movie irked my soul. I hated it. But
5 barrels.
Yeah. But it was actually amazing.
No, I don't know. No. It was bad. It was so bad. I hate honestly, and he has direct Nemesis is one of my favorite fucking action movies. I love the shit out of Nemesis. I probably watch it once a year. I love that movie. This movie, I wish I never watched even once in my entire life. I could have gone without seeing it. I should have just pretended to have watched it and been like, yeah, it was great. No, bad movie, terrible. Final thoughts and ratings, Lady Shasha.
I'm tempted to do this in Eastern European fake accent.
Do it.
From Bulgaria, Slovakia, Ukraine. This does not matter. What matters is the one person who did their job. The lighting coordinator.
Gaffer.
The lighting was consistent. It was dynamic. I never caught any bad lighting. So I give 1 barrel for the lighting coordinator. And I do know why Rob Lowe chose to do these things. I think it's Oscar bait. He saw Charlize Theron ugly herself up, monster. Oscar. Halle Berry ugly herself up, Monsters Ball. Oscar. So I see. Maybe the problem is they should have put monster in the title.
One
barrel.
Maybe not.
What the movies came out after this movie? Fuck this movie.
I'll try to add some logic to it. I mean, because he's considered a pretty boy. So he probably thought, oh, let me go play a crack fiend. And then people will take me like a serious actor.
I mean, maybe.
I don't think it worked.
No, not at all.
All right, Mike.
All right, so this is a fine time to announce my next film, Crazy 7. It's going to pick up exactly where Crazy 6 left off, because I have so many questions. I mean, what is Rob Lowe up to now? And what if he has a crazier sibling? I mean, who knows? But I think I know why Rob Lowe did it, which is the reason most of these people did it, which is a paycheck. And it's one of those movies that just reeks of that. And it would be great to get the Payun version of like what happened, because something went wrong, or something was just poorly managed from the beginning, because it almost felt like the day before shooting, someone called them and was like, well, we lost half the budget. We can't afford the action scenes. You're just going to have to shoot the actors, and that's like, well, that's fine. We can put them on a video box. That's enough. We got Rob Lowe. We got Burt Reynolds. We don't need, a story or action. This is fine. And so it sort of felt like just everyone kind of going through the motions of like, well, we can't really show you a movie, so we'll just pretend, we're going to cut to these people pretending they're in a movie, but it's not really a movie. So I think that's kind of where it went. Also, I want to add that it seemed like Burt Reynolds didn't even like stop by wardrobe. He just came in whatever he was wearing, because everything else is kind of this, pseudo futuristic grungy thing, and then he comes off the set of Malone. It is jeans and denim shirt, and kind of goes from there. What's the lowest rating one can give? Is there a 0 or is it a half?
0.
You can do 0.
Okay,
Yeah.
I have nothing to recommend for this movie. I can't honestly, in good conscience, say, hey, you should see it because of this. I think I have to. I hate to do it because I like Albert Payun or some of his movies, but I have to give it a 0 barrel, I think. Unless it's a barrel of shit, and then I give it 5 barrels.
That's good.
So,
that works.
Anyway.
I'd also like to announce my next movie is actually Magnificent Crazy 7. And we're gonna be mockbusting Mike's movie, and we actually got Rob Lowe. So we actually got Rob Lowe to come back. So it's gonna be pretty
and
exciting.
William Forsythe, weirdly enough.
Yeah. Hey, you guys remember this movie? What the fuck? So this was a case of too much artsy without the fartsy. I wanted some fartsiness, and you know what I mean. Like, yeah, okay. Like I said, throw up the lights. That's fine. But it was style over substance, and I don't think that always works unless the director is actually trying to get a reaction out of you. And I think this movie, I think the only reaction was sleepiness, because there was no other way to interpret this movie except like, here you go, you can't sleep, watch this thing. Did anybody catch that Rob Lowe had no dick in this movie? He has. It's true. That man has no dick. There's a scene in the movie. There's a scene in the movie where he's
it's
kissing
the Walter Peck of it for me.
yeah. He's kissing the singer girl, who, by the way, sang in perfect English. But then whenever she talks, goes, "I must break you." I'm like, what the fuck? You sing completely normal. Wait a minute. Hold on a minute, lady. Are you telling me that you were lip syncing? That wasn't your real voice.
Hey, it happens. Boney M is German. Who knew?
Oh yeah.
I guess I'm too old for that. You guys don't know.
I have no idea who that is, but
okay.
Yes.
Milli Vanilli. We're also German.
Oh, worry. Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yes,
wow.
they were German. Of course, they didn't sing on their album either, but you know.
Right. Exactly.
They were produced by the same guy who did Boney M. If you're older, you remember Boney M, who was the first. Well, not the first, but more recent lip syncers that got famous.
I'm fairly old, so maybe I've heard of them. But anyway, he had no dick. This is how we know. Because okay, let's get back to what's important here, guys.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a scene he's making out with the girl, and she's kissing on him or whatever, and he's like, I can't love you in that way. And she goes, I know. It's okay. What other way except pee and vagina?
Oh, I thought he just meant that he was a dope fiend and he just couldn't be relied on for anything. I didn't know he meant like
he
literally.
Stole his wiener for crack. I'm telling you, that is the subtext of that scene.
I didn't make that correlation. I didn't. No.
I'd rather see your movie. I mean, gotta give me that. So.
Yeah, your
Crazy
movie
6 inch or whatever he got working there. So
that's why they call him Crazy Six. Like, dude, that motherfucker sold his dick for crack. He's crazy, bro.
I'm in. Here's my money. I'm streaming that.
Exactly. Yeah. But unfortunately, this movie wasn't as crazy as it wanted to be, and the fact that his name was Crazy Six was super dumb. Dude, don't call yourself Crazy Six. That's so stupid, dude. Okay, sell your dick and then come back, and then we'll talk about a nickname. Anyway, 1 barrel. I mean, sorry, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Garbage. Probably one of the worst things we've watched. It's definitely up there with Begotten and Korean from Seoul as movies that were almost impossible to sit through. So good job, Bullet Blake. You picked a absolute winner.
Begotten, the art movie that's all kind of like the Marilyn Manson video, like.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I don't know.
See, I didn't find that one hard to sit through. I just wouldn't want to sit through it ever again.
Right. It's got cool shit in it. It's visually, it's cool. It's just it goes on too long, but it's cool, So made an excellent follow-up film, Shadow of the Vampire, with Willem Dafoe. He's a talented dude, or was a talented dude. So
I'd rather watch that 1,000 times over Begotten. Shadow of the Vampire 1,000 times.
Yeah, totally agreed.
Do we know if did he pass away, the director? Because you said
no. I think got I think he had some disease or something, like some form of cancer. But I think he's alive, but he hasn't directed since. So you'll have to wait for Begotten too. Yeah. So
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
All right, Mel.
All right. So had I known our crazy man was a wienerless druggie, I might have thought this movie was better. But unfortunately,
you love characters without dicks.
Now, so I'm gonna give it a 0.
So if a movie already has a character that's like a eunuch, you're like, are instant 3 barrels.
Well, I need
stars?
the backstory. Where
did he sell it for? What?
Where the penis?
What the fuck?
who he sold it to, for what did he get in return, what happened,
Right,
who said wiener after that.
You're like a penis backstory kind of person.
I like my wiener backstories. Yes,
She wants a history.
I need a history of said wiener.
You were riveted during the Lorena Bobbitt story, weren't you?
I loved that story. I'm not gonna lie, I did love that story. I found it fascinating.
It's nightmare fuel right there. What are you talking about? That is nightmare fuel.
Well, I can relate. I too don't
Get
have a
wow.
wiener.
Oh wait, I thought that
wait.
you cut someone's dick off.
I got nervous for a second.
The country, right?
I can relate. I've also butchered many penises.
No, I just don't have one, so I feel that pain.
Yeah.
Okay, OGP.
Oh, man. Yeah. No. How interesting. We go from movies last time where we have way too much wiener flopping around in a nice pair of sweatpants to a wienerless Rob Lowe.
Oh, yeah, sorry,
man.
Shasha, you were here for that.
Yeah, no. But yeah, this was bad, and it is definitely one of the worst ever. And I'm trying to remember the name, but there was a movie we watched that I just remember something about stairs and heavy metal music, and it was horrible. But a couple of you guys liked the soundtrack, and it was so bad, and I couldn't believe you gave it any barrels.
The pizza movie, right? The Five Doors.
I think it was the pizza movie. Yes, yes.
Oh,
Yeah, the pizza and the skateboard guy. Yeah.
The skateboard sequence still rocks, okay?
I don't know. Hey, if I order pizza and dude shows up on a skateboard, I'm sending that shit back. But I felt like that one, they wanted to make an 1.5 hour long music video. And I kind of feel the same about this. Was like, maybe Albert was just confused and he thought that he was hired to direct a music video. And then they're like, oh no, it's an actual movie. And he's like, oh shit. Well, okay, it's going to be an 1 hour and 34-minute music video. Because, I mean, music videos, a lot of times the story just goes nowhere, whatever. It doesn't matter because you're just there for the music. This was absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. Has anybody yet given it anything above a 0? Sasha, what did you give it?
I gave it a 1. For the lighting coordinator. Yes.
That's right. I was
the lighting
for a
person
second.
they did their job.
I couldn't remember.
Every scene.
Yeah, you know what? And I did appreciate the lighting, and it was like, oh man, Albert's really going for that like kind of 80s vibe with this. But yeah, you know what? I can't, and I guess we'll be probably 1 barrel short of a perfect 0 for the first time ever. But no, this is an absolute goose egg 0 for me. Absolute 0.
Yeah, you guys loved 1 door to the 5 doors to hell. You guys were giving it 3 barrels and 2 barrels and whatever.
Do you have those scores handy?
Good.
I do.
Curious. Hopefully I gave it a 0 because I hate that movie.
Master Chaos gave it 3 barrels.
Wow.
Just despite
everybody had their dicks. It was a solid movie.
OGP, you did give it 0.5, so thank you.
Oh, 0.5. Okay. All right.
Bullet gave it 2.5, and Tony gave it 3 barrels.
Wow.
That movie was this movie was better than that movie.
No way.
No fucking way.
Well, at least on the same level. Come on.
No.
I mean, it's gotta be.
I can't get on that hill with you.
Oh man.
All right, Professor.
Fine.
So I don't think Burt Reynolds was the theme of this week. I think it was like copious amounts of drug usage. And both movies were extremely hard to watch. So I think this one was as equally hard to watch as the first one. So I'm gonna have to give it half a barrel like I did the first one.
Wow.
What is the half for? Is it because Rob Lowe is half a man in this movie?
That's your own weird interpretation. I don't know if that's actually in the movie.
So was he just was
nailed it?
If the penis was cut off, was he still rocking? You know, did he have the knocker still going around as he walked around, or was he? I mean, completely cast. You know,
I don't know. I figured he'd sell the balls first.
No, because the balls are fun. You know, it's kind of like having a friend in your pants. You know, so.
Oh man!
There's that line. Just ran over it, didn't we?
I went over.
Tangents are popping in my head, but I'm just going to shut up.
We had to get there. All right, go ahead, Professor. Continue. Sorry.
Yeah, you're not allowed for tangents anymore. Remember?
No, I'm giving it half a barrel just because of the fact that Burt Reynolds was smart enough to be in it for only 30 seconds.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah. Does anyone know where the weapons come into play? Because like it talked about how it's like a weapons dealer, but all it is drugs. I didn't notice anything weapons related whatsoever, and they all have like revolvers and shitty ass rifles, and it's just.
Well, the little vial was supposed to be plutonium, and they were going to sell it to get the drug money.
Well, that's stupid. Okay.
I'm happy to ruin this movie for you.
I hated this movie. It's like one of the easiest zeros I think I've ever given on this show. It was abysmal. It is like the definition of ass trash garbage. It's spot on for garbage. It was bad. 0. And I wish I could give it negative barrels because it's that bad. It's below the barrel. Okay. So yeah, that.
Yeah. Mel, real quick, can you just give us a tally of where we're at, and you can do the math. What so far this season, and what is the lowest? Because I feel like this one's right up there.
1.5. Yeah, this is
a
grand total of 1.5.
It's right under Cocaine Shark.
It's under Cocaine Shark?
Cocaine Shark got 2, but the scoring of this is going to be a little hard because Mondo was here for 1 episode, so he has barrels. Tony's not going to be here for the rest.
You got to count. Now you just replace Tony's votes with Shasha's, and Mondo's votes can be my votes because I missed that episode.
You missed that episode? Okay.
There you go. Or just like if we have a celebrity guest, which by the way, Mike is a little under the weather, so I don't want to keep him any longer. But Mike, before you go, quick question: since we did Convent, can you give us sort of just a brief little backstory on how that movie came about?
Sure. It's my second movie. It was a company called Alpine Pictures that was a group of criminals that would raise money for films, and they would just keep raising money and keep them. They actually ended up getting indicted, and because they raised like $14 million for this movie called Dorothy and the Land of Oz, which they said I think they raised like 40 or something like that. They spent 14 on it, and then the FBI tried to shut them down, and they fled the country. So that's the backstory of the Convent, because this was one of the movies they actually made that they had a bunch of people invest in, and I think made it had people invest millions in it, but then they just spent like whatever $600,000 to make the Convent or whatever. But the nice thing about criminals, they won't get into your edit, and they will let you make your movie. So I was free to make whatever film we wanted to make, and I felt at the time, and this is like the early 2000s, there was a lack of kind of schlocky, super gory movies. We're in the age of I Know What You Did Last Summer and Scream and things like that. And I just felt hey, I want to go back to schlocky things. I am curious how many dicks Cocaine Shark had, Master Chaos.
They were all in there. They were all in there
because it also got a low score, so I'm thinking Cocaine Shark, perhaps the cocaine didn't allow it to function or something. I'm not sure. I'm also curious how many Neil Breen movies you guys have done.
Not yet, none yet, but he's coming. He's coming.
Oh, please, come on! You're depriving yourself of life. You know, I recommend.
But the thing is, here's the problem. Neil Breen movies are good on a level that it's like transcendent. So I mean, you can't put it up against.
So good, they're excellent.
They're amazing.
I recommend Twisted Pair and God, I forget the name of the latest one. The latest
Fateful
one is
Findings.
fantastic. No, Fateful Findings is great too, but he's got the latest one. He's given up using locations. He just gets his backgrounds on Shutterstock, and just has people go into it's amazing. It's awesome. I can't recommend it enough. God, it's something. Whatever. It's his latest movie. I recommend it highly for an episode. Any of his stuff, I recommend highly. So
he's great.
See, I brought up Neil Breen a while back, and everybody got excited, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I want to win this thing." And I think MC may give a Neil Breen movie like a 4 or 5 barrel.
I can guarantee you, I will. I really enjoy him. So
they are actually kind of good in their own way. They actually kind of work. I mean, in a terrible way. They're awful movies, but man, fuck, they're good. So
yeah,
I don't know.
So fun.
Maybe to instead of Crazy Six, I perhaps a Neil Breen would be a good palate cleanser for everybody. So,
what are you talking about? Cade, the Torture Crossing? Is
that
that's
the latest one.
That has a 6.3 on IMDb. Let's see how many ratings.
Yeah, it does.
893 votes, and it's at a 6.3. Wow.
He's got a thing lately. He does in more than one movie where he plays evil twins. Which I'm not going to say anymore. Just let it discover the magic. It's great.
It's awesome. Question from the chat there. What's your favorite movie that you've made, Mike?
It's always the last thing you made, right? So I got to go Satanic Hispanics, I suppose. But Big Ass Spider, which is probably next week's episode for you guys, is also good too. So,
what's your least favorite? That's interesting.
One that I hope you don't watch because it actually would blend right in with Henry Rollins called The Last Heist. That is total dog shit, total fucking suitable for this podcast. You guys will love it. That is a fucking giant pile of shit. I'm so embarrassed my name is on it. I fucking hate it. But sadly it exists. It exists like egg on my face. My name is
oh my god
on that turn. So yeah. So
that's amazing.
Before we let you go, do you have anything you want to plug? Anything that's coming up you want people to know about?
Satanic Hispanics is now on Shudder, so you can check it out there. And that's the latest thing. So
right on.
Nice.
All right.
Great. Well, Mike, thank you so much for coming in, man.
I'm happy I own a copy and have your autograph and I can't remember everybody's name off the top of my head, but everybody who was there,
Alejandro Briggs,
phenomenal
Efren Ramirez. Yeah, totally. So I'm happy to have it too. No. Thank you so much for supporting, and this has been a blast. I mean, I don't know if the shitty movies were worth this, but I enjoyed the actual podcast.
We agree with you 100%.
The convent needs a 4K release. That needs to happen.
The convent. I should.
No, not the convent. I got the convent. The Grave Dancers. Okay. That needs a 4K release.
Well, good news for you. Yes, the convent does have a 4K release, and the Grave Dancers 4K is on its way from Synapse Films. So
nice.
That will be.
Yeah. All right.
The color correction.
I fucking love the Grave Dancers.
Awesome.
By the way, Mike, no, that's a good movie. Mike, just so you know, I've come around to the giant head thing. I quite
have you. Okay,
now.
Thank you very much.
It's gotta be cover though. You gotta put the giant head.
It's so good.
Totally. Oh, awesome. All right. Well, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. This was a lot of fun. The movie's not, but you guys were a lot of fun. So
thank you, Mike.
Thanks. Nice
to meet you. And wait, one more time. What my takeaway, remember, William Forsythe is the Eric Roberts of Michael Madsen's. So
nice. Awesome get, MC. Very cool.
Yeah, Mike's a good friend, and I had him in mind after we did Convent. I'm like, man, I'm gonna bring him onto a show. And then when we did when it decided to do celebrity, I'm like, oh shit, this is perfect when Blake hosts. So there you go. I'm glad that he was up for it.
I'm glad we all liked the convent. Like,
yeah. Well, I wouldn't have invited him on if we were like, oh, garbage.
Yeah, no kidding.
It would have been great when Bullet brought him on. If he would have been, I have arrived. So many good catchphrases from that movie. So many times I've quoted that movie, even though I hate it or love it. It's a confusing movie.
I love it.
It's a lot of fun.
Great.
I got to get that 4K. I don't have it yet.
Well, Grave Dancers is coming out. You got to watch that one too. Have you loved it, right?
I liked Grave Dancers.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
But the ending, that's funny. The first time I met him, I'm like, dude, what was up with that? Well, I don't know if it's a spoiler for the end of the movie, but what was up with that giant head? That was kind of weird. And he's like, you didn't like the giant head? I'm like, nah, man, I didn't like the giant head. So it's kind of been a back and forth thing with me and him about the giant head. But I've since grown to appreciate the giant head.
Like with all the 8 films to die for, there's a scene in that movie with like a creepy, like sunken in, like skeleton woman thing. That was the creepiest thing out of all 8 of the original 8 films to die for. It was fucking That's what won me over on that movie. It's so good.
Speaking of so good, it's Mel's turn actually this month. In the week after next, because we're doing 2 episodes this month.
Yeah.
Mel, what you got for us,
I'm
girlfriend?
so excited. All right, so I don't want to hear any bitching from any of you because I told you I was going to do this. Okay.
Oh God, what is this?
All right, so my theme is Amityville. We're gonna go to Amityville and get spooky ooky. So we're gonna do Amityville in space. And we're gonna do Amityville Death Toilet.
Oh, son of a!
No!
Yes!
Wait, is it the same death? Wait, can you bring up the IMDb, Bullet Blake? Is this the same Death Toilet from the Death Toilet people, or is it another person? It's the same fucking guys.
It's the newest Death Toilet movie.
It's not the
more than one
newest.
Death Toilet movie. Well, I know the Japanese one.
There's so many.
There's a Japanese Death Toilet?
That's probably the first one, if I had to bet.
But I promise this will be my last Death Toilet movie.
Don't get jealous, but I have sat on the Death Toilet. I hate to be a name dropper here, but I am name dropping the Death Toilet. I have a photo with the Death Toilet.
You sat on
I don't mean to brag.
I'm so.
But did you drop into it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that would have been even more cool.
I actually kept my pants on because I wanted to leave with my unit intact. You know, I didn't want it chopped off.
You know, it'd be like a Rob Lowe situation. Yeah.
Correct.
That's gonna be the rumor going around the internet. Did you know Rob Lowe lost his wiener in the movie?
I mean, it wasn't. It's the character. Crazy Six. Crazy Six had no dick. Wow. I mean, I guess the good news is this is only like an hour long. These movies aren't very long.
Well, yeah. See, you're welcome.
But they feel like an eternity.
Yep.
I mean, they stole my heart when they had the little Sandman at the end of that one movie.
They just gave you freebies, so now you're just plugging their shit all the time.
They gave me a hat because, you know, I love their movies so much.
Yeah, I think what was your rating? Like I think it was a 0, right?
I don't remember. Probably
loved it that much.
Let me look.
But they embrace it. You know, when they came on and me and Mel were talking to them on the video a while back, they understand their movies are bad and they don't mind everybody knocking them.
They thought our episode talking about their movie was hilarious. And let me read you the ratings. Okay, so Death Toilet, which was first brought onto the show by OGP. MC, you gave it a 1. BC gave it a half. OGP gave it a 0. I gave it a 1. And Bullet and Tony both gave it 0. So me and you, MC, both enjoyed it.
Well, I'm glad that
enjoy is the word.
One barrel means enjoying.
So here's the question for that episode. Do you want him on, Mel? I mean, I'm sure you could pull him as easily as I could, but I got his phone number. All it takes is one quick call, and we can get him on.
As much as I would love to meet those dudes for a second time, I don't want to bring them on an episode where everyone's going to be talking shit about it.
Well, the thing is, we would be like, oh, it's not bad. I like what you do with the character here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe bring them on some other time.
All right.
Yeah, my review for that will still be unfiltered whether they're here or not.
Oh, just so everybody knows, Amityville in Space is a Polonia Brothers movie. So if you enjoyed Cocaine Shark and Doll Shark, get ready.
Both of these movies are on Tubi the last time I checked. So,
Oh my goodness, that's gonna hurt. Oh, I hate Amityville movies.
Yay, I love Amityville movie. Well,
You'll be fine. None of these are really Amityville movies.
Okay. but I think that's why I hate Amityville movies. There's many of them going around right now, and it's
I'm shocked the Asylum hasn't made an Amityville movie. I'm kind of really shocked.
Yeah.
Well, whatever. It is what it is. Okay, Mel. So congratulations. And now Mel will be ending the season we're gonna take a hiatus for June. Yeah, May. And then we're gonna come back. We're coming back in June. And then Lady Shasha starts the clock again, and it'll be your turn to pick. So you can let us know your picks on April 24th when we do Mel's episode.
Okay.
Excellent. I think we all need a break from Burt.
This is literally the hardest thing that I have to do ever.
Yeah.
What stuff for the show?
Just having to motivate myself to watch the movies. Then we have to talk about them.
Every single episode that I've been a part of, when I'm watching the movies, and I even told Fluffy this when we were watching these, I was like, why the fuck do I do this? And it's because I love hanging out with you all. That's the bottom line.
100%.
And I think the sentiment carries throughout the group here, but we put ourselves through some shit just to have a good laugh here.
It's fair.
Absolutely.
Anyone want to plug anything else? Anyone? We should go around.
Lady Shasha, go ahead.
Yeah, I want to plug the Cabin in the Woods Film Festival. They are still accepting submissions, short form horror as well as full length feature films. There's only 58 days left of the submission period. You can go to cabininthewoodsfilmfestival.com and it'll take you through to the Film Freeway portal to submit your film. For those who don't know what the Cabin in the Woods Film Festival is, it's a hybrid film festival in which one part of it is actually in a cabin where people go to the cabin and they watch the films on a big screen. They have like the whole experience. Second part of it is in the theater in Seattle. And this year we're partnered with SIFF, S-I-F-F. It's Seattle International Film Festival. And the third part is online. So if you can't make it to Seattle, you can purchase a ticket and watch the films online, but it's also very interactive. Not only will you get to watch the films, you'll get to make comments about the films while they're in progress. If you tweet with our handle, it automatically comes up on our social board, and the directors and the writers and everyone else that worked on the film can see the audience reaction in real time. And another great thing is Jose is one of our special guests.
Nice.
Yes.
Do the people in the theater get to watch the people in the cabin watching the movies?
No, but that's a great idea.
Like the Cabin in the Woods, they're being watched, kind of,
Mm-hmm.
That's for a special porn site where you can just like watch people watching stuff.
We gotta go over to
maybe next year.
We gotta go over to follow Bullet Blake for that information.
Mm-hmm.
And don't worry, there will be no children involved in the making of that film.
Oh my God.
I
Okay.
Hold on. I almost forgot to plug myself because I do have a channel. It's What Did I Just Watch? And I'm at Horror Freak, but the freak is spelled FREQ. That's on TikTok, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and what's left of the hellhole of Twitter. I think that's it. And I'm on Hood Podcast on Mondays where we talk about everything Black geek culture and news of the weird, which mostly involves Florida or Japan, but you know.
True.
All right.
Very true. Real briefly, I'll just mention my new movie Monster Mash is out on VOD now. It stars the immortal Michael Madsen, and believe me, I've tried to get him as a guest, and I just don't think that's gonna happen. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I do have a couple people lined up for future celebrity episodes. So the rest of season 3 will be celebrity guests. And I'll talk with Mel off air as to who we could rope in to suffer along with us. Yeah, that's all. That's all I'm gonna plug for now. Mel, do you want to reveal any information about melsfeet.com or
Check out my OnlyFans. Check out my OnlyFans. Remember when I said I didn't have a wiener earlier?
Whoa. Spoiler alert.
Careful, that's how internet rumors start.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've already confirmed that you have a scrotum, so
yeah.
Oh my God.
Of course. How could we forget?
We won't let you forget, don't worry.
No, we won't. That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
What's said here gets repeated here every time we see each other. So,
correct. Yes. Well, I'm going to be sitting on a beach in Hawaii next week, and I'm going to try and do my live stream from the beach if the internet will cooperate. But I got my every Monday live stream where we talk horror movies and news and what's going on. And this week we have to commiserate over the delay in the release of the new Saw movie for a year, which pisses me off, but I'll get through it. But no, that's basically it. You get what you get from me. It's Mondays. I'll be there. We'll be talking news, horror movie news and stuff, but anything else, movie reviews and everything. If you haven't seen Late Night with the Devil, I just released my review on that. Wow, what a fun movie. So unbarrel worthy. Late Night with the Devil was, oh my God, good. So, but that's about it. Just, come see me on Monday nights if you're bored and got nothing else to do.
all right, Professor.
Nothing really to plug right now. There's still a couple things I'm working on, but sometimes things are slow going.
There.
Professor, you need some like neon lights in your
I know.
Well,
in your
see,
room.
this is if I showed you the room, this is actually the den, and this is where we do like we smoke cigars and our pipes and stuff. So it's all dark colors. So I probably should get something. Yeah.
Oh, order like a neon sign that says cigar bar and just put it up in the back.
Oh yeah,
I could do that.
Add a little class to the Voyage, yeah.
But it's my brother's
like
house, and I think if I put up a neon sign, I think he'd shoot me.
Biatch.
Classy.
What you need over your shoulder a big picture of Marianne, because the Professor and Marianne. Or
funny story.
Or a debate of Marianne or Ginger. Sorry, go ahead.
So funny story. My last name is actually Skipper, and in high
shut
school,
the fuck up.
No.
Wow.
In high school, there was a group of people that called me Gilligan because I was too scrawny and awkward to be the skipper.
Wow.
Wow.
That's kind of cool.
That's interesting. I don't remember that.
Contain yourself, MC.
Now I'm gonna get hit. Now he's Professor Skipper from now on.
I've gotten. Oh man. Okay, so the nickname of Skippy has followed me my entire life, and for some reason, None of my brothers got called Skippy ever, but I always got it. It was so fucking frustrating.
Why is that?
Probably because I'm a goofy son of a bitch.
I love that so much.
That's what you should get a neon behind you, goofy son of a bitch, and then an you know, that's
Might as well
the
just
backdrop.
change your YouTube name to Goofy Son of a Bitch. I'm sure they'd approve it and everything.
Yes. I'm in.
I know you were gonna go with ridiculous Rob Lowe, but I think goofy son of a bitch is better.
Just remember, guys, you only
All
have
right.
one testicle. Walk in a circle.
We're getting into the weeds.
Yep. All right. Cutting everybody off. All right. My channel's pretty much the same as it always is. It's mostly Vinegar Syndrome lately because I've been getting other shit. I just haven't had to, well, mostly because I don't want to take the time to open it on camera and I just put it in and watch it. But I'll try and get better and I'll try and do reviews. But I filmed like 5 reviews and I don't feel like editing them. So, you know,
Editing
Editing's a
promised
bummer.
us.
It's like a whole hassle and that's just the way it is. So maybe we'll see. But otherwise, it's I Vinegar Syndrome stuff. So, but yeah, that's it for me. That's it for us. Everybody say goodbye.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Wiener. Rob Lowe's Wiener. Last word, Rob Lowe's Wiener.
What are you crying about? I didn't shoot the dog.